Cry 6 is heading to the steamy jungles and sparkling shores of Yara, a fictional island in the Caribbean, for the next installment in the series.
We recently got a chance to sit down with an early build of the game and explore the opening couple of hours.
Hey, I'm Jess.
I'm Gus.
And here are our early impressions as we find out what kind of trouble we can get up to in the tropics of Far Cry 6.
To avoid major spoilers, our hands-on session started about an hour or so into the campaign, where we found ourselves washed up on the shore as the lone survivor of a severely unsuccessful boating trip. From there, we headed deeper into the island in search of a weapon, an unsuspecting guard or two, and some locals to help set up the story.
I'm Dani, a friend of Lita.
Luckily, the small starter area of Isla Santorio is a perfect place to not only brush up on the familiar feeling of being a Far Cry predator, but it quickly sets up the story of our protagonist meeting and reluctantly joining the local guerrilla militia led by Clara.
Their goal? To oust a dastardly dictator and free the people of Yara, which, lucky for us, involves a heap of exploration, over-the-top gunplay, and more than your average amount of MacGyvering, which here is referred to as being a resolver. In order to become a master of the workbench, we had to meet our very own make-it-yourself Mr. Miyagi, Juan Cortez, the guy who basically wrote the book on being a resolver. On resolvering. Look, all you have to know is the guy has a heap of swagger, a pet crocodile called Guapo, and no intention of paying his bar tab anytime soon.
The fuck?
After a quick run-in with the local law enforcement, he's got us tinkering away back at base camp, with everything from weapon attachments to armor-piercing ammo modifiers. Customization feels like it has a bigger part to play than ever before, with weapons and gear all containing numerous slots for modifiers and upgrades, somewhat replacing your basic skill tree from previous games. And of course, it all requires scavenging for parts and resources that can be found littered everywhere, or occasionally airdropped in bulk by pilots with no regard for where their cargo lands.
Collecting enough resources eventually leads to constructing the more creative guns in the game, appropriately referred to as resolver weapons, delightfully decadent damage dealers that add a splash of personality to your arsenal.
What the hell is this?
This is a Supremo.
The big daddy of the bunch being your Supremo, a souped-up backpack that serves as an ultimate ability with its own cooldown. And it packs a serious punch depending on how you choose to upgrade and customize it.
Unlocking the first of these Supremos requires picking up some questionable parts from a nearby fortress. It's one of the first missions the game throws your way and provides a perfect opportunity to get back into the saddle when it comes to perfecting Far Cry's classic formula of scouting, tagging, infiltrating, and ultimately shooting your way out when all goes wrong.
Of course, unlocking new gear and gadgets does open up more creative ways to approach these areas, but even at this early stage, clearing enemy outposts, checkpoints, and patrols feels just as satisfying and fun as it always has. And in Far Cry 6, you'll always have someone to share your victories with a suite of adorable pet pals, on which we will go into more detail soon, I promise.
Quest handed in, it was back to the workbench for more upgrades before skipping ahead to explore the larger region of El Este. Here we explored one of the established guerrilla camps. These serve as hub zones in which to accept missions, allocate troops, and upgrade camp facilities, something that feels appropriate to your player's cause, but they're also just a neat place to relax in between chaotic outings. Even if it's just to enjoy the local tunes or admire your ridiculously fashionable outfit from a refreshing third-person perspective.
Distractions aside, it wasn't long before we were literally diving headfirst back into the wilderness to stir up all manner of chaos in this enormous sunny sandbox. Whether by air, sea, or a classy set of wheels, Far Cry 6 looks to be promising a huge amount to do and an even longer list of ways in which to do them.
And we can't wait to finally set out and liberate some locals with nothing more than a couple of homemade weapons and a sausage dog by our side.
Viva la Yas!